All right. Mics are live. What's going on, Facebook? We are back again, Parts Online Network, for our weekly live from the shop. As always, Bill over here.
Andy
we got
over here.
Nate in the middle, and we got a special guest with us today, as you guys may have already seen. We have Formula Drift 2023 Rookie ProSpec driver, Dan Malvasio. He's a local guy. He started drifting around here. We're going to sit down and talk with him for most of the hour today. But as always, start off with what's been going on at the shop this week.
Inventory. That's it, inventory. We did wire harnesses, we did modules, we're still doing modules. Fuse blocks, yep, tip-ems, underhood lamps, wire harnesses for that.
Parking brake,
Oh,
release handles.
parking brake handles.
We have a ton.
Yeah.
Order yours now.
Yeah,
Yes.
you can't see it, but like literally there's just little gadgets everywhere.
Parts
lined
everywhere,
up.
yeah.
It's all the little stuff that just never gets listed.
Yeah, so we're listing all that stuff, and we found a lot of the stuff is discontinued, so we might be the only place that has one, and we just had it sitting on the ground in the shop here waiting to be sold.
What's going on, Chris? What's going
So
on, Mike?
if you need parts for your 3rd gen or 4th gen Ram, you should check our website, because there's new part numbers added daily now. So you might find what you're looking for that wasn't there before.
Believe it or not, we still sell Dodge Ram parts.
Yeah.
We have not turned into a full-time media company yet.
While we have added the motorsports media aspect to the business, we do still sell parts. And those sales of parts allow me to go drag racing with my truck. So buy some parts so I can go drag racing.
Speaking of parts truck, we got the crimp tool to fix
Yep.
the fuel lines, make that a little nicer back
yeah, that's
there.
for the battery cable. And then I bought an extra length of fuel line and new fittings to fix that menagerie, because there is no better word to describe what I did there. But it got the truck done and running, and that's all that matters to me.
Yeah, I don't know if can you even see that in the back shot from?
See what's that?
No, because the tailgate's up. Can't see the whole.
Oh no! See, that's everything in the bed is the way it should
that's
be.
legit.
That's all
Oh, I
good.
thought that's what you were changing.
No.
Was the stuff in the bed.
No, underneath on the driver's side, I ran out of fuel line, and I cobbled together a bunch of fittings to make the length up.
It's a 45.
So there's a bunch of
and
fittings.
Straight and yeah.
I guess it's a good thing we didn't get teched.
That's why I asked if there was tech inspection.
See, it didn't leak, so what are they gonna say?
Yeah.
No,
It wasn't
wasn't
sitting
leaking.
on the header. What are they gonna say? Like,
Yeah.
it's not.
The only thing I was really worried about is I don't have a lower bell housing on it, so like the torque converter and flex plate and everything are exposed.
But those aren't metal, anyways.
Yeah,
On
they're
the
just plastic,
It's plastic
yeah.
is not catch. It would catch a little bit of fluid.
Yeah. Until
Torque converter comes flying out.
until shrapnel tore through it.
Yeah.
These are the parts of the conversation I get lost in when they start going about the mechanic stuff. I'm just like, yep, nope,
Me
nope,
too.
nope.
I'm just a driver.
He's sitting over there like, totally.
4 fuel fittings together sounds great.
I think it was more than 4.
Yeah.
It's probably like 6 or 8.
And then the one
That just sounds normal in the
was a
drifting
little
world.
short, so every time you rev it,
Oh
it gets a
yeah,
little
yeah.
stretched out.
The return line. I think it's the return line to the regulator. Yeah, it's the return
Yeah.
line to the regulator. One of them is a little bit short, so as the engine torques it, it leaks a little bit at the one foot. No big deal.
No big deal. Just
We'll fix it though. I have a longer section of line now to fix it.
We
so.
might think about and consider.
We'll talk about fixing it just so people are not like, you're being unsafe. We're probably not going to fix it. We're going to run it anyway. Deal with it. When the truck burns down, then you could be like, probably should have fixed that fuel line.
And the next
say that.
time we're
Knock on
running
wood.
parts truck will be.
There's no wood here.
Find one.
Are we going to run it anywhere before?
If we're going to run it anywhere, we got to go way south to do it. So it's going to be like a big time weekend road trip.
So pretty much Sick Week's going to be
I think Sick Week's
the
going to be
next
the
time it
testing,
sees
yeah.
the track.
But the next time it goes to the track, it will have a finer tuned suspension, more air pressure in the rear tires, and it'll be leaving off a trans brake. So
As always, 6 Week is coming up February.
Whew.
I can't wait. It's already too cold here.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
excited
I'm like-
to get to Florida for a week.
yeah, as we're sitting here in the freezing cold, it's just like, oh,
It's going to get me through the next couple of weeks, just knowing I'm going to Florida.
yeah. And as the year turns, it'll be like, damn, we don't count months anymore. We're counting weeks until we get to have some fun in the sun.
Yeah, hey, we're
As long
down
as
to
it
like
doesn't break.
8 or 9 weeks. Wow.
It could always be a nightmare in the sun, which beaches.
Well, it's still the sun. And
Ah.
I'd rather be in Florida, broken down on the side of the road, than in
Broken down
Pennsylvania.
So yeah, that's pretty much it for like shop stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, just got one. I guess we're tearing that one apart, right? Back there.
Yeah,
we
that's just the
sold
part
door
out.
panels and the
Radio bezel. Guys coming Friday for those. That was just, we were,
You can't see it, but it's a nice rusted out Ram 1500.
yeah. Oh, it's,
Quality,
They always
northern.
are.
You can tell that one's not from down south.
no, that's not a normal one of our trucks. That's a, which one's this going to be? Because we already had the Rust edition and we had the CEO
Rust edition. Now we have, I don't know.
I don't know what this
Does this one
be.
run?
Yeah.
Yeah, it has a rod
It has
mount.
an engine noise though, so we could probably beat the brakes off of it till it blows up.
I don't know. When I pulled it in, it sounded very rough.
It's a very balmy 65 degrees. You said Dave wasn't going to be on. There he is.
where
What's
it
going
shut
on,
off?
Dave?
He lied.
That's where it sits.
65 degrees. Cool. Good for you.
Yeah, 65 sounds better than here.
I still expect a Christmas present from you, Dave.
Are you sure you want that? He could send you some weird stuff.
Yeah, he does. All right, so
Probably send me a
that's pretty much all we got going on here. We
Pizza
kind of
shaped like-
made today's episode not really about us, because it's going to be about this guy right here.
Yeah.
No, as I kind of introduced him earlier, we'll give him a more proper introduction now. His name is Dan Malvasio. He's a local driver. It started up here at Drift Evergreen Raceway. He's rocking the shirt there. I got the Evergreen Raceway shirt on. We did not coordinate that.
I didn't get that memo, obviously. I'm still repping
Believe it or
SRT
not, it's
Addicts.
the nicest hoodie I have.
The Evergreen hoodies are really nice.
They are. Yeah.
Whoever does these does a good job on them. I don't even know.
I think
We should find out who it is so we can have them do ours.
it's Mikey's wife.
Is it?
Fiance.
Is it? I wasn't sure if it was that, because there's that other company, the Electric Frog or whatever, that they use. But I heard he went out of business. So.
Yeah.
So take a minute, Dan, and introduce yourself, and tell everybody how you got started with this stupid thing we call drifting.
Yeah, so my name's Dan Malvasio. Damo is kind of my nickname. Pretty much, I got started drifting about 5 years ago was my first event. And how that all started, I was sitting around. I had an RX-8 that I daily drove. And a buddy of mine said, hey, we should check out this Evergreen place. And the night before, I think it was a October event, welded the rear, and I actually put a roll cage in it because at the time I was building roll cages, and I just thought that's what you needed. Apparently not at most tracks, but yeah, we showed up and I spun out for about 4 hours, and it wound up being the most fun I've had in a long time. And pretty much from there, that was like a turning point in my life, because I literally just became a drift nerd, and that's all I think about and all I do is just go drifting. If it's not for drifting, it's taking care of my daughter, and that's pretty much all I do. Obviously, I work a full-time job as well. But
Yeah, you can't pay for drifting.
no,
without that.
drifting is not a cheap sport.
So, yeah,
But,
neat bit of information that the RX-8 still is driving at Evergreen.
It is still there.
It is still owned by somebody else. He just finally got rid of all the
The
funky
fancy
red
paintwork. That-
artwork.
That was another thing I did before going to Evergreen. Like, you show up at your first drift event, you should probably be like low key and just blend in. Nah, I did this fancy camo, and it's all real paint. It wasn't vinyl wrap. It was full paint.
Oh,
with
really?
A flake paint job on
Shit,
it
I
and
never knew
everything.
that.
Yeah, and I stuck out like a sore thumb, and I drove like crap.
Yeah. The car looked really. I remember that because I remember like being like, this car looks awesome, but this guy can't drive.
Yeah.
And then it literally was his first day. That's one of the cool things about Evergreen. If you guys aren't familiar with Evergreen, most of you on here are, but Evergreen's a very laid back place for drifting. We do have rules. Obviously, the rules have got to be there. But for first timers, I think out of all the tracks and clubs I've been to, I think Evergreen's probably one of the most relaxed environments for a first time person
So
to go to.
here's the funny story about my first event. I got there at 10 o'clock, the gates open, driving started at 12, and I sat there for like 2 hours, just too nervous to go out and drive. Like I was everybody's going to watch and laugh at me. And finally worked up the courage to get in line at grid, and some random person rolls up, knocks on my door with a helmet and says, "Hey, can I get a ride along?" And I was like, I don't know. Is that a thing? And yeah, he hopped in, and I was like, this is my first time. Sorry, I'm going to drive like shit. And he was like, nah, don't worry about it. Everybody spins out. And yeah, that kind of gave me the motivation to just not worry. And
Do you remember who that person was?
no clue who he is.
That
It's
would
funny.
have been neat to.
I'm kind of thinking it might have been my kid.
No, it was if you'll remember back in the day, Evergreen used to do, I can't remember what it was, but it was the drift event, but they also did the car show out in the field.
Oh yeah.
It was
a couple
one of the
times we
car
did
show
that, yeah.
people. I can't remember the name of the car show, but
We did that for a couple times, and then they just
Yeah.
did dumb stuff out there. So I think that was kind of the end of that. And then nobody really showed up for the car show.
yeah. Well,
But no one park your car out in the mud.
but after that first event, I was hooked, and over the winter, I made a couple changes to the car. I think I cut my knuckles down and welded them. I was a welder by trade back then, so anything I could do with welding to make the car better was like a good move. So, you look online and shorten the knuckles, you get more steering angle. So I was like, I'll try that out, and that was like a world of a difference. Because the following year, which would have been 2018, my first event was RSD skid pad. It was like a 2-day skid pad event. And my first run, I go out, diff blows apart, snaps the case off, all this shit. And this is like, I've only been at one other drift event at this point, but I met a couple people, and this is just how good the drift community is. A guy I met once, Mark, I don't know if you even remember him. He used to drive RX-7s back in the day, but he's one of Kyle Ash's buddies.
I probably. Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I met this guy once before, and I posted on Facebook like, "Oh, I blew out my diff. I need a diff." He drove from 2 hours away to bring me a diff he had. We welded it at the track overnight, put it in the car, and then the next day, did runs. And we had like 5 random people I never met before just helping wrench on stuff just to get me back out, and that's how drifting is.
That's one of the cool things. That's one of the things I first fell in love with drifting when I first started doing photography was just the camaraderie between everybody. Even at the pro level where he's going, you see it every week. The team you're going against in the finals is literally helping the team get to the finals to go against him when they could easily be like, nah, don't help him. Right. We get a buy run and we win. But
I'm sure it's way different in drag racing.
No, it's really not.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like especially like the drag week type events. It's
that's a different
I'm saying
kind
in competition.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
competition.
I don't
no
know.
one's helping you fix your car to make it.
I've never raced professionally or even amateur. Well, I guess I used to do bracket racing back in high school and college, but I never had anything break and never got to really experience that aspect of it.
Like the no prep guys, they're not helping the guy on the other side.
Yeah,
like
most of them aren't even letting other teams look at the cars.
Yeah,
That's
that's
when
true.
you get in racing.
They
too.
weren't
they
Racing's
won't
the
give
same
you
way.
information. Yeah,
They're so weird about people seeing their
They're
setups
bad.
and stuff. But
they're bad.
yeah, drifting is a whole different animal with that. The dragon drives were that way too. That was one of the
Dragon
cool things
drives
about the dragon drives.
Usually not.
Yeah, it's
Everybody's
like-
stopping on the side of the road to help the broke down.
Yeah,
the guy
you see a
pro
car
mod.
parked that's in competition, and you're stopping to see what's broken. What can I do to help? Like that's how our story went. For those of you that haven't heard this story already, when we were at Drag Week, so Bill knows Tony Angelo from back in his drifting days, and Tony Angelo was riding with Mike Finnegan, and Finnegan's car broke on the first pass. So Bill went over, talked to Tony, told him, basically reintroduced himself. He remembered who he was, and said, "Hey, if you need anything, let us know." Well, we're 40 miles out from Gateway. Well, I guess Worldwide Technology it is now.
Yeah.
And Tony Angelo messages and says we need an engine hoist. So we literally found the closest Harbor Freight, bought an engine hoist, and delivered it back to the track for Finnegan so he could get his car fixed, which didn't get fixed at the track anyway. So
Yeah, for anybody on here that doesn't not familiar with what a drag and drive event is, it's kind of what we do with the SRT 10 truck we have. You trailer your truck to the first track. It's a 5-day event, usually over 4 different tracks. So you trailer your truck to the first track. First day is test and tune. After that day, you have to park the trailer, lock it up, and you cannot touch it for the rest of the week. You now have to drive your drag cars and trucks between the tracks, a couple hundred miles between the tracks. And then the whole thing's about attrition and just getting to the different tracks. But yeah, it's a ton of fun.
And it tests who has a true street car. Granted, some of them are pro mods with lights and wipers and a horn, but it basically tests, like, a bunch of people can say I have the fastest street car. Just because it has a plate on it and you have insurance on it doesn't mean it's actually a street car. So these cars will race 5 days and sometimes do up to 1,200 miles of street driving in a week.
And Tom Bailey's Camaro is not a street car.
It's not a street car, but
It is
the
full
fact
core mod.
the fact that he could run sixes
And still drive it down the
and
street.
drive it down the street for what did we do, 880 miles or
Yeah.
something it was in the last drag
he
week?
didn't have any problems.
No.
He made it through the whole week pretty good.
No, he did. He had a big problem when the trailer broke.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, the trailer broke off mid-highway. That's right. I
Yeah,
forgot
the
about
tongue
that.
broke off of his trailer, and his trailer was laying in the
Yeah.
middle of the highway.
Yikes, that was like day 3.
Yep.
So yeah, back. So you ran the RX-8 for what, two years?
No, didn't even last a full season. So I had that one event, 2017. 2018 came out swinging, and that's when I really kind of learned to control the car. The one great thing about an RX-8 is you have to learn to drift. You can't rely on the power.
It's not. It's not.
That thing made like 100. I actually had a dyno at a Sloppy Mechanics dyno day. I think it made 153 horsepower, and with those Renesis rotary engines, that's like you can't do anything to them. So yeah, that was it. And
Those cars are super like gripped up too, aren't they? Like,
Yeah.
It always seems like everybody that has an RX-8 to me, and I said that to you like years ago too. Like it just looked like everybody's always fighting the RX-8.
Well-
Like, it just looks like even Mohan, like, and that dude like builds them damn
Yeah,
things.
yeah, yeah.
And he just always looks like he's fighting it, like equivalent to the Ferrari. Like it just always looks like you're battling the car, not battling the other drivers.
so it's weird. I think back on it, and maybe I have like nostalgia and remembering it differently, or it's a fact that now I know a lot more about drifting, and I'm a lot more developed as a driver. But when I think back to that RX-8, I think it actually did flow. Like the chassis itself pushed wide; it didn't drive in, which now I know is the benefit of the E36 chassis, is that you have that toe gain in the rear side bite. But for a stock drift car, now I didn't even have the thing aligned. I didn't know anything about alignment, like where to set the rear toe or anything like that. I think I pretty much just made sure it was zero camber in the rear, and that was it. But yeah, no, it didn't last a full year. I think like 4 or 5 events into that year, it started running real hot, and like it would the stock ECU would pull timing when the oil got hot. So then I like rigged up these windshield wiper washers to the oil coolers to cool the oil coolers as I was running. And that was like a Band-Aid. It worked for a little bit, and then I think it was the first Evergreen 3-day, which I was all excited about to drive. The first day, the car was running like crap, and then John Ferganella spun out in front of me, and I dodged him and just plowed into the wall. And once again, drove back to Allentown, bought parts off of some sketchy guy, and we fixed it, but then the engine was so shot at that point. I think the final day on Sunday, I literally went out on L-track, drifted around the pole for 2 minutes straight until the block cracked and started puking coolant all over the windshield. And
It just tells you how many years ago that was. It's at the pole.
yeah, the pole is no longer at Evergreen. Yeah,
Both of the poles are there. Probably both the poles were still there that year. I think 2018 was the year that the pickup truck took out the second pole.
I'm not
yeah.
sure. Yeah,
Oh gosh.
but yeah, that was. In hindsight, I sold it to a buddy of mine, and then he found out it was just the thermostat housing that cracked. He slapped a new one on, put new ignition coils on it. Something. It's kind of working. I mean, he says it makes full power, but I doubt it.
And that's the guy that still has it now.
Yeah, that car still shows up at Evergreen. I did drive it once last year, and he had the thing towed in like crazy in the front, so it drove like crap, and I was like, hey, you got to tow this thing out. And
Yeah, pole mod. It was I think it was an S10 pickup truck that hit it. He came
Was it
straight down the L track, and he went to initiate, and then decided, nope, don't want to do that. Straightened it back out, and went head on into the pole. Snapped the pole completely in half. Like the pole was hanging by the wires.
Wow.
It's one of the few big things that happened there that I didn't have video of ever.
They weren't taken down by choice.
Well, the second one, the one in the middle of L track, we took down by choice. After that one, it was like, all right, we had enough people hitting that thing in the middle every time. Every
That
event.
was great. It just added that pucker factor to the L track. But yeah.
Oh, it was a Nissan KA truck. My son said
Oh, okay.
he would remember because he was still filming for me back then. But yeah, so RX-8 finally done with that.
Yeah,
That's
and then
when we moved on to
I
the BMW, right? The first one.
the first one it was a Dave Roberts buy, which bought that thing, and Dave took it out at his shop, and he'll like to disagree with this, but I'm pretty sure Dave blew the head gasket when he was showing me the car. And yeah, whatever. I still bought it, and this was like a week before a Lake Erie Speedway event, and I put a cage in it because that's just once again, I like to be safe. So whatever.
Nah, safety matters.
Drove it up. I didn't even put fluids in it. Drove it up to Erie, and then we put coolant in it. Found out, I mean, it was hydrolocked. That's how bad this head gasket leaked.
Oh man.
So I was pissed because I mean Erie was like a 7-hour drive
Yeah.
for us, and it's funny. I'm like calling around, and my one buddy that I got a hold of, he goes, "There's this shit called Blue Devil. It's $70, but just try it out. I've used it once before and it worked. It's the only thing I know." So I'm like, I got nothing to lose. Screw it. Let's
You're
try it
already
out.
there.
Yeah, yeah. So we drove. We wound up driving like 45 minutes because every auto parts store we went to didn't have it, and we finally found it. Get back to the track. You got to do all this crazy stuff. You got to drain the coolant, pull the thermostat, fill it with water, put this Blue Devil stuff in, and idle the car for 50 minutes.
Sounds like seafoam.
I mean, I guess
50 minutes is.
it's a long
That's a long
time.
It's like 15.
Is it, yeah?
50 is
But here's
wild.
what's crazy: the head gasket was so bad, you could see water, just a constant stream, coming out of one of like the exhaust ports.
Yeah.
And just over this 50 minutes, it went from a constant stream to like a drip, 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 drip.
Had to drip
And then
up.
it was like drip, drip, drip. And finally it stopped. And we were like, no shit. Like, we're actually going to be able to drive.
It must have ran out of water. Nope. It
No, no.
actually sealed.
So we go out for the first run. And it turned out the clutch was shot on the car. The coilovers was shot. But, you know, in drifting, you still make it work. And we pulled in, and this kid comes up, and he goes, "I saw you guys doing that, and I thought you guys were the dumbest people." And he goes, "You got halfway through that first lap, and it stopped blowing smoke out." And he's like, "I was amazed." And so it's funny, that car, over the 2 years I had it, it wound up getting the Blue Devil treatment like 3 more times. Yeah, never did an actual head gasket.
Yeah.
Just every season would just pour more Blue Devil in it, and you know.
I don't know if I was not paying attention or not. Was this also an E36?
Yeah,
This
this was
was-
the first
this was the
E36.
first
Okay, so you still have an E36, or am I? Or you're in some.
Not currently.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so
We'll get into
That's
that.
fine. Yeah, we'll get there. I don't want to jump out of line. I just wanted to make sure it was.
So that was
an
that was the
E36. Okay.
E36 you won Pumpkin Smash with then.
That was the first. Yeah, that was my first one. Yeah, and that car kind of really
That
is
car
where,
met the wall a lot.
Yeah,
A lot.
yeah, oh,
A
yeah.
lot.
But that's where I kind of started like really getting the hang of like
Cast iron.
hucking a car in and like tandeming. I did my first tandems. Shout outs to my boy Jason Pioli. That was like the first dude. Like we actually met at our first drift event and became real good friends since then. And you know, the one day we're like, "Hey, you want to pop my tandem cherry?" And he's like, "Come on, let's go." And that's yeah. But I also got my first taste of riding the wall at Evergreen with that car. Also got my first taste of crashing into the wall in that car. That was
Kind
actually
of what happens though when you push it every time going through there, and you always were like one of the ones that was just balls deep on the bank every time.
So it's funny. I guess you could say I'm kind of like a show off. And Ogre, who's one of the guys that runs grid there, and Kyle Ash, were always running the grid on the oval, and just always like, you know, if somebody would go deep or do a sick run, they were cheering you on. So I found that like by riding the wall, everybody was psyched, and that just kind of kept me like, man, I wanted to see people like psyched when I drove, and that's kind of what drove me to keep riding the wall. And then the one event, me and Putz were like, hey, let's tandem at the wall, and we were like, all right, and we went out first run and did it like pretty decent, and then I went again. Came in a little too hot, tagged the wall with the back of the car, and did the old back to front thing. Bent rear arms, bent control arms. But once again, I jacked the car up, and as I pulled like the first wheel bolt out, a random guy I never met before was there with his hand out, catching the bolts. And yeah, between us and a couple guys, we fixed that car. That's actually the car that had the adjustable control arm. If you remember that.
Okay.
It was, I had a control arm and they were extended. So we cut the good one I had that wasn't bent, welded the ball joint on, and like it was some crappy like flux core MIG welder. So as a way to add more strength to it, I took an adjustable wrench I had and just sandwiched it in there and welded it to the control arm.
That's exactly what your kid just said. He goes, welded wrenches on it, didn't you?
Yeah.
So then Jake also asked, which was answered by Chris, did you ever put head gaskets on that car?
Well, Chris, that
Or
was the
just
car
run it.
Chris bought,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
Chris
Chris
actually
on
bought that car.
Then Chris
from
said,
him.
nope, never got head gaskets.
never
It
did.
was
I
all
was just
blue.
getting to that because I was like, after the
Chris had to
second
do
wreck,
the head gasket.
But yeah,
No, did Chris do the head gasket, or did he just?
no, nobody ever did. Nobody ever did.
This is incredible.
no, he never did the head gasket, and he ran it for a full season
And
too.
he did a couple Blue Devil treatments himself.
This is so awesome.
That
Yeah.
thing needs Blue Devil sponsor.
Well, we'll get into Blue Devil because I've used it quite a bit.
Oh, yeah.
We'll get into it like they're sponsoring you, and that's how you're paying for.
I hit him up, no response as of yet. So hey, if you're listening, Blue Devil, get at me.
Now, what was the thing we used to do on our videos?
Nice
Dave and
spot
I
on
used
the
to be
fender.
like, they're not a sponsor yet, but they could be.
Very well could be.
But yeah,
That's so
that adjustable control arm, as we called it, was on the car for like a year or two. And then I think Chris hit a wall and it finally took it out.
He's
But,
speaking your language here.
I like this.
You said you like safety about putting the cages in. He goes, nah. He doesn't like the safety aspect of it because I spent a ton of money doing the cage in my truck.
yeah.
And
More than my build.
yeah, literally, I spent more on my cage than he spent on his entire build. But he doesn't like the safety thing. But now you're speaking his language right now.
Oh,
Blue
we-
Devil and adjustable wrench
yeah.
control arms. He's
We do a
all
lot
about
of
it.
sketchy stuff in drifting.
Yeah, I've seen some stuff.
As far as the safety stuff, I mean, you know, I got a child, and
Oh,
you know,
I was gonna say that having kids changes it.
Yeah.
Changes everything.
Well, it happened when I used to race motocross when I was younger, and my dad said this way back in the day. If you're on a bike or car, whatever, and you're about to like dump it and crash, if you could freeze time and go back and get the extra safety gear, would you? And it's like, yup.
Yeah.
So from that, you know, I kind of,
Good way to put it.
you know, yeah.
Chris said the control arm only bent. The adjustable actually held up.
It was still there.
Jake says 90% Blue Devil, 10% Schuylkill River water.
Yeah, no, probably, yeah. Yeah, but that's, I did 2018, I did Team Vibes with Skid Lab in that car. I actually sold it for like 3 or 4 weeks and then bought it back from the guy
And then resold it to Chris.
and then sold it to Chris. Well, so going on there, so I think I did either 1 year, yeah, it would be 2 years I did in that car. Because the end of 2019, I sold to Chris. Then I bought another Dave Roberts car. It was a 328 convertible. And now at this point,
I
like,
remember the convertible.
I've been
forgot
tandeming
about
with
the
people,
convertible.
you know, so I wanted something with a little bit more power. So, you'll love this. I went on Amazon and bought the cheapest eBay turbo kit you could buy. Fit that thing on the car. The only thing with E36, M50, M52 engines, you can run tons of boost at them. You're just supposed to put a fresh head gasket in and ARP head studs.
Yeah.
But I didn't have the BMW cam alignment tool, so I took one factory stud out, or bolt out,
Okay, yeah, I
and
like
put the stud in, and you know,
like the
I went
energy.
around in the pattern,
Yeah.
And, you know, drove that car for, that was the year of COVID. So that was actually kind of like sketchy because I thought we weren't going to be able to get out and drive it at all. But then things opened up. We went to Evergreen. And that was like...
We never shut Evergreen down.
No, that was awesome.
That was the year COVID
It was
happened.
it was
I spent
delayed.
every day at Evergreen Raceway for like 3 months straight.
Yeah.
Because we were doing track rentals because no other track would open. So everybody was renting our track out. We were just like daily, and I wasn't working at the school because the schools were closed. So like Jason's like, yeah, just come down and make sure people don't die on the track. And
Yeah.
Supervise.
we were rebels.
Man,
We
I
never
wish
shut
I
down.
would have known you at that point in time. We could have gotten to some shit.
Yeah, it was. I had fun COVID year. Like I thought COVID year was.
Yeah, we did like. I
COVID year
probably
was
shouldn't say
perfect for
this
like
on
our
here.
kind of people.
If you shouldn't say it on the internet, you don't want to say it.
When there's no one on the roads, there's some.
There's
stuff
a
to get
reason that
into.
the new Cannonball record was set
Yeah,
during
exactly.
COVID.
that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That was
And we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
So yeah, after COVID, I mean, you had the vert. I don't remember the vert for like
It was one
very
season.
short. Yeah, it was very short.
It was
time
one
you had
season
that.
because I drove it.
You had a ton of problems with that too, didn't you?
Well, kind of. I had a lot of wastegate issues, and I tuned the car. I tuned BMWs with Mega Squirt, and I could never get the wastegate working right. So we just wound up like it would overboost to like 22 pounds of boost, and eventually I was just like, "Yep, that's where she's gonna live." So, yeah, the first motor, I blew a ringland out. And then it was like a week, me and my buddy Andy went to the yard, pulled the motor, put the new motor in, pulled the head studs out of one motor, threw them in the other one. And then we're back to the Blue Devil now.
Oh.
So we fire it up and the thing's just leaking coolant, you know. That one, again, I never had coolant in the second motor. Put coolant in it, drove up to Evergreen, which is about like an hour from my house. And just in the time, that hour, the cylinders all filled with water. Then when I got there and tried to start it, it was just
Like locked up. Yeah.
knotted up. So, you know, shoot, we'll go back to the house. I'm like, Blue Devil, drained the coolant out, fired it up with no liquid in it, so it wasn't hydrolocked.
Yeah.
As it's idling, filled it with water, put the Blue Devil in it, ran it for 50 minutes, problem solved. Drove that car at a couple Erie events, and then I went to that Drift Panthera, Seneca, whatever the heck it's called now. And that was like a 4.5 hour drive. It's this sweet drift track in the mountains of
It's
West
a great
Virginia.
trick track. Don't go there.
Yeah.
Why is
Don't
that?
do that. We're not going to get into that.
Oh no, I feel like this is something we need to get.
There's some guy with stealing money or something.
Oh,
The
okay.
dude running it's a piece of shit. And
Okay.
if you go there now, you're supporting Spirit again.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
They're trying to keep it on the low, but it kind of got leaked out like a week or two ago that it's still him running it. And so,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Great track. I'd love to go there.
Yeah, it
again.
is. It was
So if
one
it
of the few
changes
tracks.
owners,
It's not even the owner. It's just the guy running the drifting now. The
Oh, I
owners,
gotcha.
the owners. There's nothing wrong with the owners. And
Yeah.
it is. It's a cool track that I never got to go shoot at. Cause
Well, I never got to like drive it, because there's all blind hills, blind corners, and it's like a mile and a half long.
that's pretty cool.
So like my first couple runs, I was just trying to remember the track, because if you drift over one of these hills and you're confused with another hill,
Yeah.
you'll blow off, and there's like cliffs,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
you'll
yeah.
just go tumbling. But then when I finally figured the track out, you know, pulled back into the pits, did some stuff, changed tires, and as I was going back out, car just shuts off. And you know, luckily I tuned the car, so I hooked the laptop up. The crank position sensor just had no signal. And you're in the middle of West Virginia. There's nothing around. Couldn't find them. And I had a known bad crank position sensor, which sounds funny. Like it was known bad. It worked, but like had sync losses all the time. And I'm like, well, we're out here, last event of the season. Slammed that in there, went out. The car's breaking up because it's just losing RPM signal the whole time. And I got like 3/4 of the way through one run, and it just sent a piston out the top, puked oil and everything everywhere, and that was the end of that car. And then from there, we could kind of roll into this. Me and Nick.
And so we're in 2020 now,
Yeah, 2020.
going into 2021.
It was the last Evergreen event. I had my bus up there. I have a short bus that's like a little camper in the back.
Okay.
It's pretty sweet. But I wasn't driving. We were just chilling in the bus, watching drifting. And I said to Nick, I said, you know, when I drift, I don't get nervous. I kind of just drive. Like, I've done Evergreen mini comps, and I was like, you know, when I drove in those comps, I'd have butterflies sitting on grid, like real bad. But as soon as they would wave you out to go, it was like just completely focused on driving. I was
Yeah.
like, I think I might be a good competition driver. Like, we should do Pro-Am. And Nick was all on board. My buddy Nick builds LS engines, so we were going to take that same convertible chassis, put an LS in it, and do Pro-Am.
That's
in
what I
it.
was just gonna. Did you ever put the LS in that? Like, I vaguely
Yeah.
remember the LS being in that for an event,
Yeah, we can get into that.
but it didn't. It never hit the track, right?
No. I did a couple runs in it. This was actually 2 events ago. I had the car out. No brakes, some other stuff that people that run
so that
tech
was
at
this year.
Evergreen.
Okay,
wouldn't- yeah.
So is this something that shouldn't be on the internet?
Nah, I mean, we can talk about it. I mean, I help out as staff at Evergreen, so,
Okay.
you know. Yeah.
So this is stuff that happened off road, on track.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so it's not like-
I'm
not
actually
like-
I'm like a super nerd. I've actually like never been arrested, never got a speeding ticket. I like keep my shit on the track.
Okay.
I don't mind when other people do it, but not me.
It's not your thing.
But yeah, no. We spent all winter building this car. You know, we did
National Oils of Pakistan. What's going on?
Oh shoot! All right, Pakistan got the reach.
Go.
But so we did a 5.3 LS. I don't know crap about LS engines, so I might screw
This
this,
is
up.
He's
the
Mr.
LS guy,
LS,
so he'll,
okay.
Okay,
he'll
okay.
correct you.
So it was
if
a
there's anything
5.3.
wrong.
It was like 792 heads, 780.
799. So those are 243. Those are the good heads.
Okay,
Good
that
heads.
sounds right. That
Those,
sounds
are the,
right.
those are the LS2 and the Gen 4
That sounds
heads.
that
So,
sounds
yeah,
about
those
right.
are the good heads, best heads.
We had
Factory
a
heads.
Brian Tooley stuff,
Yep. Cam.
Texas speed stuff.
Yep. Like towards bottom end, all that good stuff.
No, I think we were stock bottom end.
Okay.
We were on E85 and long tube headers. We had it mated to a CD09 Collins adapter kit. That was pretty sweet. And it was like, it was January. My garage got hit. Somebody drove off the road, hit my garage, told my RX-7. That's a whole nother story. And then the next day, my daughter was born.
Oh,
So
man.
I have great friends. This guy's truck is literally in my garage. We were actually scheduled to go to the hospital for her to be induced, and my buddies are like, "Yo, go inside, take care of the girl. You know, we're gonna get these cars. We're gonna take them out to their garage. Don't worry about it. We'll clean up. Do your thing."
There's your garage.
Oh, is that the video?
Oh yeah, there it is.
my god.
There's the RX-7. Good old wall collapsed
You're
on
gonna
it.
be able to see it.
I gotta blow this up. How do I blow this up?
But
Are you being a boomer right now?
Yeah, I'm being
How about you click on it? There you go. You gotta
yeah, that's a 40-foot hole in my garage right there.
That's crazy, dude.
But that kind of put a delay on the build for Pro-Am.
You were really close to finishing that at that point,
We
right?
were like 90% done. Like there was just a bunch of little, technical stuff that had to be done and this and that. So it was like 3 weeks. Now at this point, we're already registered for the Pro-Am series at Lake Erie. Paid up, ready to go. And it was like 3 weeks before the first round, we brought the car to the dyno and had all sorts of issues. It's funny, I figured it out a couple weeks ago at Evergreen, but we were chasing this for a while. It didn't make the power that it should have made, but even the tuner was like, everything looks
This
great.
is the engine I was telling you about a few months ago. We talked about it on the live. The LS that made less power than stock.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And they
I
kept doing
remember
stuff to it, and it kept making less power than stock.
What's crazy is it sounded like, we brought it to Happel, he had it on his dyno, and he was rolling, it's a 6-speed transmission. he rode through all 6 gears, and it's like, this thing should make way more than it does. It feels like it makes more power. Even when I drove it, it felt like a good motor, just didn't make the power. And we, in hindsight, I had like a 4-year-old fuel filter on it, and that thing was clogged shut.
Man.
But now that's my buddy's Mikey Barr's car. He bought it, and he's going to be driving that next year. But anyway, so we're like 3 weeks from doing Pro-Am, and we don't have a car. Like, we can't do Pro-Am it was like 260 horsepower. Like,
Yeah.
we couldn't even spin the tires that we had for it. So
Now, for anybody that doesn't know, just to stop you, Pro-Am is the qualifying division to get your license to go to the pros, which is
Right,
Formula
right.
Drift. So there used to be 6. I don't know how many there are left anymore.
it's like 9, I think.
Yeah, so you're basically, if you run in a Pro-Am, you're either in a one weekend competition or a stretched out like series over a season. Erie did theirs as a season, right? It
Right,
wasn't
right,
just
yeah.
a one event.
4 rounds.
Yeah, so you have to go to the 4 rounds, and then the top 3 people get their Formula Drift license to go to ProSpec for next year. So just a little backstory on what he means by Pro-Am
right,
for anybody that may not know.
So I have great friends, and I hit up my friend Lorenzo, and he had a turbo E36 that I had tuned, and I said, look, man, I'm 3 weeks out here. I'll give you anything. I'll pay you whatever you want. Let me borrow the car for this 1 round. And great people. He was like, yeah, take the car. Use my truck. Use my enclosed. Like, let's go, you know? So what's funny is he didn't drive the car for like a year. So it was kind of like we didn't know the condition of the car. But we had no time.
Yeah.
We literally, I was getting support from Field Suspension. Shout out Field Suspension.
What's up, Odie?
So I threw my coilovers on the car, and also I drive with SLR angle kits.
Okay.
So we threw my SLR kit on there, and literally the night before we did that, and drove up to Erie. And we get to Erie, and the first couple practice laps, we were tuning the car,
No
like,
kidding.
because it hadn't been running so
Yeah,
long.
yeah,
So
yeah.
like, you know, just button up the tune, and that was my first experience at like a stressful competition where there was actually like stuff on the line. And one thing about me that a lot of people know is like I can get used to a track in like 2-3 laps. I can get all my zones down, drift the car great. But we found out something this year. I am terrible at qualifying. Now, we don't know if it's just because LS engines are louder and they make more smoke or what, but I think my first qualifying run out, I scored like a 53, which is like only the top 16 guys qualify for the actual like bracket battling. And I was like super stressed. What actually happened was my first, like on the lead up to the first turn, I missed a gear. So like by the time I got it back in gear and got back in it, I didn't have enough speed to carry through the first corner. So I straightened out, which is a automatic 0 in drifting. And then my second run, I held it together, but I missed one zone. I think I got like a 72. No, it was like a 68. And I was the first one to go because, of course, I'm a loser. And when the sign up went live for this Pro-Am series, I was literally like waiting. And like as soon as it went live, I clicked go. Little did I know that means I would be qualifying first. So that kind of sucked.
Yeah.
But no, my second run, whatever, missed the zone. But we were first. So at the time, we were like in 10th place. And as more drivers were going, it was like we were in 12th place, then 13th place, then 15th place. And we're like, oh my God, are we going to get knocked out? So then I was in 16th place, and the last guy goes to go. And LS turbo, pumping smoke out everywhere. He scored like 2 points higher than me, and we got bumped out. So like, this is my first competition. I didn't even make it,
Yeah.
And I was like so disappointed. But then my buddy, who was like watching the live stream, comes running over and he's like, yo. He didn't have brake lights on his car, and he didn't go through tech. And we were like, how did he? And he didn't do his first run. So we like looked up the live stream, and sure enough, like he didn't have brake lights on his car. There was a couple different things he didn't have.
Yeah.
So I was like, look, I don't want to be that guy, but my one buddy Lorenzo, you know, they're a Sicilian, so
He's
he was
like, I'll be
he
that
was
guy.
like, oh, come on, we're going. So him and my buddy Andy go up. They filled out the protest form and submitted it, and you know, they actually all the judges agreed. They were like, yeah, he didn't even go through tech. He should not have been allowed to run.
Yeah.
So made it in by the skin of my teeth. And it's funny. So that was like qualifying was what would that be? Friday night. Saturday is when the actual like battles would start.
Yeah.
So we're Saturday morning. We're sitting at the hotel, and I'm like, I don't want to do this. I'm like, I suck. I'm gonna do terrible. I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I'm not gonna do any of the other rounds. Like this is over. Because in my head, the last place qualifier goes up against the first place qualifier.
You think there's no chance?
So yeah, I'm like, there's no way. Now, I doubt myself a lot, and it's one thing I gotta learn to have more confidence in myself.
Right.
But so
It's a hard thing to do.
yeah, for sure. So, Bill, you'll know this. At Evergreen, we drive rain or shine.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing I thank Evergreen for is, I think it was 2018. It rained like
Almost every event.
So I have a ton of practice in the wet.
Yeah.
So we're so now back to Erie. It's like the opening ceremonies, you know, the anthems and that. They line up. They introduce us all, and it just downpours for like 15 minutes straight. And we're sitting there, and you could hear like little murmurs throughout all the other drivers. They're like, you know, like, oh man, it's wet. Like, we didn't practice in the wet. I look at Chris, who's our photographer. Bill knows him, and I said, dude, I'm like, I'm not worried about it at all. Like,
Yeah.
I love the wet. Like,
Yeah.
let's go. This is the best thing that could have happened. And they give us a practice run in the wet, like they call it sight lap. And also, I qualified last, so I'm the first battle too.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm like, oh my god, this is terrible. And it's funny, the guy I was battling spun out on his sight lap, and I'm just out there doing the like I said, Evergreen, we drive in the wet.
Yep.
You know, it's just plain and simple. So we go out, and I was the chase first, and he like drifts, blows off the track, and I like split second, I like clutch kicked and just passed him, which like is not a normal thing in drifting.
Yeah.
Especially on the outside. I think in the rule book, you're technically not allowed to pass on the outside zone unless they go off the track. But I passed, and I'm like just doing my thing, and then they're like, all right, you gotta pretty much in that situation, as long as I would complete my next run without spinning out, like I won that battle.
It's a win, yeah.
So same thing, it was my lead run, went out, just drove normal because it's wet.
Yep.
And I remember pulling back around and seeing my whole team, Nick, Lorenzo, Andy, Chris, Lorenzo's brothers, they're all up there like cheering, and I was like, oh my God. I went from like, I hate competition driving, I'm never going to do this again, to like, this is the greatest feeling in the world.
Yeah.
I can't wait to do this again.
Because you're a huge underdog, being the last seed that got in
Yeah,
by the skin of your
yeah.
teeth, and then you go out and knock number one out to start the.
And it's
The competition.
cool. We actually wound up winning that whole event.
Nice.
We battled all the way to the finals, in which I went up against my buddy Fred, who he drives a turbo E36 as well. And it was a good battle. We went one more time, but he made a little mistake on the one more time and straightened out, and they gave me the win. And that was pretty cool. That was my first like real win in anything, really.
First time it was like, this might work.
Yeah. So we kind of were like, all right, now I'm going to do the rest of the season. Yeah, like it's
So you won the first event, second event. Where'd you
second
finish for
event.
second
I got fourth place. Third event, I got fourth place, and then the last round, I won again.
Yeah.
Shout outs to Andrew Shorkey. Me and him were like 1 and 2 the whole year, and it really sucks. But in his top 16 battle, he like broke his hydro, and got knocked out. And that was like, he came up to me, and I guess at that point, him and his team did the math, and they were like, yo, you won the championship. And I was like, what? No way. And he's like, dude, we're knocked out. We did the math. Like, we're tied right now. Even if you get knocked out, we're tied. But it goes to whoever placed better in the last round. I think at that point I was in like the top 8. So I was like, geez. That was cool though, because the rest of the battles like really didn't matter.
Yeah, it was.
So I was just out having fun. And wound up going up against Tom Perner for the final battle, which he had a supercharged BRZ, and that was a good battle, close tandems, but we got the win. And that was won my first championship.
It was between the third and the fourth event that you did the comp at Evergreen, right?
Yeah.
We don't want to the video you guys
want to skip over that.
The videos you guys been watching here,
So
been playing. That's from the competition that we ran. If you guys remember, we televised it. We had talked about it for a long time before it went on. He was actually one of the sponsors for that event. That was a cool competition. That was the first big real competition.
That was not to put down Evergreen, because I love Evergreen, but for us that was like a weekend off. Even though it was like the biggest comp of drifting.
Oh yeah,
Evergreen
but
ever
it
had.
didn't count towards the season.
It didn't count towards points, so
FD
I was
license.
happy because that was like a stress-free weekend for me, and I think we actually wound up getting third. Shout outs to Kenny. Kenny won that whole event, and Kenny is like the Evergreen
Kenny's like a
king.
beast now.
Yeah, he's the Evergreen king. That dude.
Prior to the last year and a half, I would have given you that title, but Kenny's definitely.
Well, I'm still the wall king. Nobody can take the wall from me. But Kenny.
Does anybody want to take that from you, though?
Oh yeah,
Oh
people
yeah.
try.
Evergreen.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a big thing at Evergreen.
Okay.
Especially for the pumpkin smash.
Yeah. Oh, that's something we glazed over, kind of. In 2018, I won the.
I
won the
kind of
pumpkin.
mentioned it.
Yeah, that was
That was the last.
That was another one where it was dry at first, and then it started to rain, and I was like the only guy like going in full speed up to the wall.
It always rains at Evergreen.
Yeah,
It's gonna rain this weekend.
Yeah, it's gonna be cold, but the Evergreen comp was a fun weekend.
Yeah, you won some decent money that day too.
I won more money that weekend than I did winning at a Pro-Am series.
Yeah, because you won the fan favorite driver award for
I
the
got
Wire
fan
Guys.
favorite, which
Shout
I was
out to the
surprised
Wire
at.
Guys.
Yeah, Wire Guys, thank you, and whoever was in the stands cheering, thanks. I didn't know that many people were like into me. But, whatever. There were some other cool cars there, so surprised I got the fan favorite. But
Yeah, that was fun. That was fun. Doing just the fan thing was fun. We had to do it like 3 times. 'Cause,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It was like 3 or 4 of you guys that like the crowd was just behind.
I think I won because I told everybody I need to buy food for my date. But
Yeah, so you finished what, 3rd in that comp, right? You
Third,
finished 3rd
yeah.
in the drift ever.
I got once again I got 3rd without really doing anything. Fred was my first battle. I got a bye run in the top 16, and then Fred hit me on initiation, so he like took himself out, and then Brandon Ferrier spun out behind me, and then so my first like battle went for 3rd place, and I wound up spinning out and frying the clutch in the car, and but that was man, Kenny drove like an animal that day. That dude tinkers with his car and does like the most finite adjustments on like angle and alignment, whereas I'm the type of guy, I drove a whole Evergreen event without a lollipop bushing. So my front wheel was moving 4 inches. And everybody was like, dude, your car is messed up. And I was like, yeah, I don't have the part, but I'm still going to drive. Like,
still gonna send it.
that's what I'm talking about with the sketchy stuff we do.
So yeah, you won the championship, and then here we are.
Yeah.
When FD starts in April?
May 11th
Is
is
the
the
first
first
Pro-
round.
Pro 2?
Formula
ProSpec?
Drift Atlanta, yeah. Which
So Atlanta's your first
first round.
round down.
Atlanta, big track, big
Big
initiation.
hill, huge initiation.
Chris is gonna bring over his Assetto Corsa sim rig, so I can practice, over the winter.
Not a bad idea.
So you have your car. You have the car. Is the LS car?
No, okay, so
No,
let's roll it back a little bit.
Oh.
So I wound up using my buddy Lorenzo's car all year long.
Okay.
Because it was just a well-sorted car. And once again, I want to make this clear. I want to give a huge shout-out to all those dudes that helped me out. A lot of people don't realize this. In drifting, driving, I would say, is like 20% of it. Having a good team is like the rest of it, because I never changed a tire. We actually blew the motor up between round 1 and 2. They had a new motor in within one night, and I didn't do anything. They were literally like, go home, chill with your family. We got this. They put a new motor in. They set everything up. So my team is Lorenzo. He is like our head mechanic guy. We got Nick Helfrich. He is our crew chief. We got Chris Small. He's on he does like our media pictures and stuff like that. Man, I'm like drawing a blank now, of course.
Who's going to be your spotter?
AJ Popovich.
Yeah.
We got AJ. My buddy Andy Capizolio, he helped us out. I know that's not how you say his name, but whatever. We just call him Andy Cap. Lorenzo's whole family got involved with this. His brothers, his cousin, they were there every round. Before I jump into that, Joe Hawkins, he's another one that helps us out. But Lorenzo's whole family, I got to give a shout out to Marciano's Pizza in New Ringgold. They got really good food there. I don't know if you guys ever had it. It's right down the road.
I know where it's at.
You better
but
stop
we've never
in there
had it.
now.
Now we have to, yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll say Danmo sent
Oh,
us.
absolutely. Joe over there is a great guy.
Okay.
They helped actually between round 3 and 4. One of the issues we were having with the car is like a little bit of lag issues, versus all the V8 guys.
Yeah.
And Joe from Marciano's bought us a brand new Borg Warner turbo. I don't know how much it was, expensive. He said,
Wow.
don't worry about it. It's on the house. So Marciano's Pizza gives us a lot of support this year. So anybody that's local, stop in there, get a slice, great food. Anyway.
So we're talking about the FD car for this year.
Yeah, okay, so we didn't know what we were going to do. I really would have loved to just keep driving Lorenzo's car, but, he wants his car back.
Yeah, that's understandable.
So, and, the 400 horsepower wasn't going to be enough for pro. I mean, most of those guys are like
6 to 8.
Yeah,
in
6 is
ProSpec.
low.
Yeah.
6 is
I think
like
6
the
was
low
the
guys.
lowest
Yeah.
last year for ProSpec.
So we wound up, actually, my buddy Jack had an E46 shell that had like half a cage in it already. And he was like, take it. I'm surprised. I guess I'm a nice guy. Because the amount of people that have been willing to like help me out and support me for this dream with really like nothing in return other than like being a part of it. But people are just, so he gave me this car. And it's an E46, had a roll cage cage in it, like half installed, and that's pretty much what we got. So
I haven't seen this one at all yet, right?
yeah, so right now we're on a strict timeline, and Joe, one of our guys, he's like a project manager. He's got us like to the week, what we need to get done that week to have the car ready to go for May. So like it's funny because we're just like a bunch of rednecks from PA, but like we actually got to structure this like a professional.
Yeah.
Because we're a professional team now.
You are a pro drifter.
And
now.
it's crazy to think about it because we're still just like, these rednecks from Pennsylvania just doing our thing. But so right now we're still in like the chassis fabrication part of the build. We have, as of last week, we have everything on order that we need for the car. It's going to be a ProCharge LS. We have the 4-speed dog box trans, the Winner's quick change, the Pro Shop axles, all the heavy duty stuff to keep us at par with all the other pros.
Those quick change rears are amazingly cool.
I said that was one thing we have to have.
The big pro guys all like just they.
Dude, you can
sweat
change
like
your
this.
final drive ratio in 5 minutes, which is
zip, 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 zip.
and you can make a change of all the way up down to I think it's like 4 miles per hour. You can change
No
for
kidding.
each final drive. So they're expensive.
Yeah.
It was like $6,000 for the kit.
I believe
But what's nice about it is they're rated for like 1,600 horsepower.
Oh,
So that's one thing, like, you don't have to worry about, like, breaking your diff,
Yeah.
breaking your axles, stuff like that. So, Yeah, that's kind of where we're at. I've gotten a couple sponsors, so we got those parts going on the cars. Condor Speed Shop, they hooked us up with a bunch of stuff. Deutschworks, we got their whole fuel system for the car. SLR, of course, I love SLR, so we're going to be running that on the whole car, front and rear, with the rear arms. Obviously, Marciano's Pizza is still going to support us in Pro, which, let me also add this in there. Every round at Pro-Am, we had like 6 pizzas with us, a tray of garlic knots, wings. I mean, it was great.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So that's kind of what we're getting into is just kind of building the program to do Pro. And
You have a goal for next year, like for your first season? Like, did you set any goals?
I mean, let's be honest. Everybody's goal would be to win.
Right, ultimately.
You know, I mean, I want to go in. I want to win every round, win the championship, win Rookie of the Year. But on a more realistic note, I mean, from what I've done on research,
I mean, you got Dimitri coming back for his.
there's a lot of good
Pro
drivers.
Too. So, I
Robert
mean, like,
Thorne
yeah.
is driving again.
He'll be there again this year.
Haley, you know, there's tons of good drivers. But
Haley had a good year this year. I was
Oh,
happy
yeah.
for him. I
Oh,
love
yeah.
that guy.
from what I've seen, it seems like qualifying for rookie year, qualifying every round and making it to top 16 every round is like an
Yeah.
achievement.
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
that's kind of where we got like the baseline goal at is like at least qualifying and making a couple top 16s. And if we go further than that, awesome. I mean, I'm gonna try. I mean,
obviously. You got to have the big goal, but
I'm sinking everything I have into this pro drifting. So
yeah, it's
When
not
I-
cheap. It is an expensive sport that does not pay back very well. Yet,
No.
Even at the pro level, that's a whole nother discussion for another day.
you got to be one of the most popular guys or one of the best.
Yeah.
To like make
You
money.
got to have a side thing. You got to make your money. They're all
Yeah.
making their money off brand deals and YouTube channels and TikToks and
Right.
stuff like that. That's where
Yeah.
because they're not getting paid to win. I mean, you're making a little bit, but it barely covers your
It's-
tires for the weekend.
It's not that much.
Yeah.
Which
Well, like he said, he won more at a
a
non-sanctioned
non-sanctioned event, yeah.
event than he did.
And
at the pro.
that's something that we can kind of get into a little.
That's something I feel like has to change in drifting over the next couple of years.
Well, you're kind of seeing two camps develop because you got the
Clutch kickers.
you got the Pro Series, which arguably has more clout. Let's call it that.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
clout. You're going to get more popular off and more fans off of Formula Drift.
Right, they're the established.
But
name.
now you have these clutch kickers events where it's like you can go and win money,
money.
like actually
Real money.
actually make money.
Yeah, same with the gambler.
But I feel like there's not as much support company wise.
No, not yet.
In
Not
those
yet.
events.
Because they're still looking at those events as being like just like the Evergreen one, like just it's a grassroots.
There's not as
spin-off
much
day.
show
Right.
as there is with Formula
Right.
Drift, and
And Formula Drift puts on
a great
hell
show.
of a show.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everybody knocks them all the time for the live stream and stuff, but like somebody that is running a live stream right now, it ain't freaking easy.
Yeah.
And they're using 10, 12 different cameras, aerial stuff. You know, you've got commercials to run, you got sponsors, like
Yeah, because it was for you to set this up. You got here what 10 o'clock this morning?
yeah, it usually takes me.
So-
it takes me right up until the time, like to get all the videos queued up, everything queued up, the memes, all that good.
Yeah. So a single camera live stream takes an hour and a half to set up.
2 microphones and a single camera.
Yep.
They're setting up 20 microphones,
30
30
cameras.
cameras.
That's what Les was telling us at Drag Week. The hours that it takes to set that up,
And then tear it down.
and that's still only 2 or 3 cameras. Well, they have the one in the booth. They have 3 on track, I believe.
Yeah, and then I think they had a handheld.
A
too.
handheld that someone walking around with it,
Yeah.
and then all the microphones and all the cables and everything. It's an ordeal. It's an undertaking.
The microphone you were standing right above.
The microphone that I was
He's running our
I was
live stream
commentating
above
the live stream
the
on TikTok.
live stream microphone for the drag event. They had to come down and be like, "Yo, buddy, can you get the hell away from the microphone?" Like,
Yeah, they weren't
everybody
that
can
mean.
hear
They
you.
were super nice about it.
Yeah,
Nice.
Yeah, they were
running
super
our
nice
live
about
stream.
it. It's like if you just move like 3 feet down. you're
That's
good to go.
something they do in drifting that I want to do next year. They have Drift Week, where it's almost the same principle.
Yeah.
It's
You
exactly the same
drive to
principle.
a couple different tracks.
Yep.
Like, and street driving a drift car is not easy.
It doesn't, no, because especially because you're talking about alignment angles that are not
Oh, we
right,
have like
so they're-
camber out like 8 degrees and
Yeah, so
towed
like,
out quarter
like
of an inch.
hitting a bump in the road, the thing's gonna
Oh,
act
yeah.
up.
It's funny, my memory on Facebook today is the shot of Perez's car when we all went down
Oh,
to
yeah.
friggin' Black Friday a couple years ago. AJ street drove the Mustang,
Yeah.
all burnt up.
That's one event I'd like to go to as well.
Yeah, that's a really cool one. I missed it last year and this year, but I went a couple years ago. I was consistently going there. It's a cool track. Orlando's really cool. You guys run Orlando?
No,
Pro
so
too?
that's it's round 1 is Road Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
Round 2 is Englishtown,
Englishtown,
which
right.
that'll be like close for us, so
Yeah.
that's nice. Round 3, St. Louis, and then round 4 is going to be the furthest for us, which is Utah.
That's the new track.
Yeah, that's the
that's
new
the
one.
new track.
So like,
That sounds
Yeah.
like a drive.
yeah.
Well, that's they do this the Street Outlaws spin-off where it's just a no prep event. It's not Street Outlaws; it's their no prep event.
What-
And they have a track out in Utah, so like all those guys, like Lutz, if he's in PA,
Yeah.
he has to drive to Utah
Ugh.
for
I think it-
one weekend thing, and then drive to the next track.
It was like
Every week.
32 hours when
Yeah.
we did like Google Maps.
Oy, yikes.
And that's straight driving,
Yeah.
32 hours.
And you know how terrible just that drive to St. Louis was. That was
That wasn't even that great.
even if we take out our breakdown, it's not a good
Yeah.
time.
But we'll be there every round, fighting, trying to, see what we can do with it, I got to give it at least one shot, one
Yeah,
year.
one full go at it.
If not, I can just be like that washed up guy at the local track. Yeah, I did pro drifting once.
Keep the Formula Drift sticker on the car.
Nah,
So let everybody know where they can follow you. We'll put all your links in the bio and
Yeah,
everything
so-
right in the description of this video. This video will be available after for people to watch.
So it's pretty simple. It's Damo349 on YouTube and Damo349 on Instagram. And those are, I don't have TikTok yet. I'm 33 years old, so, I got to get with the younger generation here. But,
yeah, definitely get on TikTok. That's worth it.
yeah.
Yes, it is.
Let's see if I can pop that up.
Yeah,
real
because
quick
we
here for
just
everybody.
started ours early this year, and we think we're up to 14,000 followers already.
Yeah,
on it,
that-
so it's not.
That's Damo's page right there, his YouTube page. Make sure you guys go over and follow him there. And
We
then,
got a
yeah,
lot of cool. I actually recapped the whole Pro-Am series there, each round. So if you want to check out like what I've been talking about here, you can right there.
Yep. And like I said, I'll put the links. They'll be in the description at the bottom, so you guys can just click right on them and head on over to his pages. Make sure you give him a follow. Yeah, and any shout out any sponsors before you leave?
Yeah, like I said. Well, hold on. Let me get the list. I don't want to forget anybody. But off the top, I know Marciano's Pizza, huge help there. SLR, Fuel Suspension, Condor Speed Shop, Deutschworks, and hold on. Let me just make sure I'm not forgetting anything here.
You don't want to leave anybody out.
Oh, that's one thing I say about our team is we are so dialed with we have build lists and everything set up to keep everything in line.
It's good. You gotta have a plan.
Oh my God, I can't believe I forgot this. Link ECU. You have to run a Link ECU in ProSpec because they sponsor
They're
series.
the title sponsor.
But I hit them up and they're also helping support with discounts
Sweet.
and some free stuff. So, and,
Yikes.
How about your wife?
well,
Who just called you out on that? Mike Moto.
that's my old man. Yeah, he always likes to do that. I gotta. So we're not actually married yet. A little. That could be a topic for another day. We don't actually believe in marriage.
I mean, we can
But
all,
we do believe in marriage.
can
We don't
always-
like the government.
We can always have you come back after the season, and we can recap how your first season went.
absolutely. But no, yeah, she, every round when I was out drifting and winning events, she was at home with the baby, taking care of the baby. So, huge shout out to
Yeah,
her.
that's important.
Someone
Yeah.
asked about your lawn too.
My lawn.
Yeah.
Oh, don't. So we actually have a dirt oval track in my yard.
I am too. I forgot about that.
So we actually go out and bang doors and drive on the dirt.
That's awesome.
And my buddy that picked up a car from me last week, I love it. I buy a house, I want to use it. I don't care what I don't really have neighbors, but I don't care what people drive by think of my house. But I don't want them to tear up the good grass. So he comes out and he's just doing donuts in the good grass. I'm like, no, take it to the oval, man. Come on. But yeah. Is there any other live stream questions?
No, let's see if anybody. I don't think there's anybody else calling you out right now. No, just your dad about the wife, and then Mike about the
Mike
lawn.
Barnes actually said about the lawn too.
Yeah, that was him.
Yep.
Asshole. He owes me some grass seed.
Looks like a while back, Chris said that you skipped a whole year. I don't know where we were at.
Well, because there was like nothing in that year.
Yeah, that was like the year we almost didn't see you at all.
2021, I didn't.
I hardly saw you at all that year.
Dude,
I think one or two events you
We
came.
can go back to that. I literally, since I blew up that turbo E36,
Yeah.
I didn't drive for like 2 years.
Really?
Yeah, other than like, I go to the track and like, let me drive your car.
Oh, I got you.
Do a couple runs.
You see him hanging out of somebody else's car.
But and they say those simulators are pretty close, but it's not because you don't like feel it. But
Yeah, 'cause you don't
I
feel
did this winter leading up to Pro-Am. I did drive on the simulator like all winter long, so maybe it did help.
There is something to it. I mean, and there's a lot of professional drivers, all motor racing
A lot
now.
of them
they're
are doing
using
it. Yeah.
And it's the one thing that's left out is the motion. But as far as braking and like gas points
You
and
get
stuff
the
like that,
idea, especially
yeah.
with drifting, like transitioning at the right time
and
to like jump in on
initiations and
somebody.
stuff.
Yeah, that's kind of why I want to do it for Road Atlanta because
Because coming down, if you do it in the simulator a couple times, you're going to have and they're pretty good with the locations on the side, so you're going to have your eye already set up to all right, you see that, boom, I know I need to be.
Oh, trust me, I've watched Formula Drift Atlanta Pro 2 2018 probably like 300 times in the last couple weeks just to.
I'm sorry.
Well, I think what I've
That was a
learned
bad
is initiating at like the second initiation cone kind of sets you up good for the first corner. So
Yeah, I think if I remember that event, and that was rough.
it's
It was like I think it was like the first time they put Pro 2 on Atlanta.
so.
And it was just
I
like
don't
it was just and it was raining, I believe. I think it was raining.
It was dry during the comp when I was watching.
Yeah,
the
I
video.
just remember it being a disaster for Pro 2.
Yeah, but it'll be fun. Can't wait to get out there and see what happens.
Yeah, it's gonna be exciting.
And,
Do you have anything?
Me. No, I just if this one needs another head gasket, you gotta get.
this
Gotta
one,
get
well,
Blue Devil
this one's a V8, so it's a little bit easier to a head gasket.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think
You
this
need
car will get the Blue Devil
You need to
treatment.
shoot for that sponsorship.
I mean, look, if it happens at an event, it's going in there.
I think we're sending.
I mean-
I think we're sending a copy of this video over to Blue Devil, see if we can get them
I,
sponsored.
man, I've tried. It's funny if you
They
if
got
you-
my
we
business
were
if I
name
ever
dropping
run
you
into-
earlier.
if you go through my Instagram, there's multiple pictures of a Blue Devil bottle sitting on top of my car saying, "Thanks, Blue Devil, you got me through the weekend."
Yeah.
But yeah, that's good. I don't know. It works in my opinion. So
You'll be there this weekend. Are you driving or just hanging out?
No, I think there's a couple people that said I can get in their cars, so I'll be driving somebody else's car. for
This
sure.
Saturday, if anybody local is interested, this Saturday, Evergreen Raceway. It's the final drift event of the year. Just a one-day event, drifting from, I believe it's 12 to 6. Gates open up at 10. So if you guys want to show up, it's $15 to spectate. If you want to drive, it's $75. You can still pay at the gate, just cash only.
Good food in the
Yeah,
kitchen.
the kitchen will be open. That's where I'll be hanging out most of the weekend because I am not getting wet this weekend.
And
It's
I
not
I love talking to people. So if you want to come out, meet me, say what's up, come on out to Evergreen. We'll be there.
Yeah, he's not a hard one to miss.
I guess. I don't know.
He's a character, man. But yeah, that's probably why we got along so good over the years.
Oh yeah. We kind of linked up like right away as soon as we started talking. Well, we used to talk about some crazy stuff, pyramids and aliens, and
That was like 3 years into it, though. That was like after we were already like knew each other for a
that's
while.
true, that's true.
We didn't start talking about ayahuasca and stuff till like, like the third or fourth year. But yeah, no, it should be a fun weekend. It's not going to be too cold, so the rain's not going to hurt too much. And like he said, we race in the rain. Well, we don't race in the rain. We drift in the rain. We definitely don't race in the rain. Thank God.
Yeah.
There's already enough crashes there the way it is without the rain.
The pond.
Yeah, we were watching the videos, and it's like the one where he ends up in the. How did he end up in the pond?
He just got punted coming down the front stretch, got turned sideways, and then he hit the grass. The grass was soaking wet.
Yeah.
You don't know. They're on slicks.
There's no.
They're running big fat slicks on those modifieds.
The evergreen swamp will get you.
Yeah.
But
Jumps out
I was
at
trying
you.
to show, like I always told them, like it gets the drifters on the hairpin.
Yeah,
you go in there
yeah.
because you'll just go right over the edge. But like the one modified, I don't know if you saw the picture on my page from the King of the Green event.
remember.
The modified, two of them went through off the front stretch. They come off down the front stretch and they both lost it and skid right past the edge of the wall, almost hit the wall, like the pit road wall there in the middle, and then skid right into the water. Like side,
That's
like
deep there.
yeah. Like they were doing it a whole different way than we do it drifting. We just kind of go pop off the edge. And there's only that one guy with the 350. He's got air. He's the only one that got air going in there.
Somebody got
From
air
this
at
year.
the pumpkin smash last.
Well, yeah, that was against the wall. That wasn't into the water.
That was sweet though. He was 4 wheels
I
off.
saw the pictures. Didn't he? He still ran too after that.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
That wasn't that. That was the cop car, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was Tathro's buddy.
Yeah,
Tathro,
Brandon's buddy,
however
yeah.
you say his name.
Oh
So yeah, that's about it. Yeah, we went way over as usual. We always do. But we got to get Dan out of here. He's got to go to work.
Yes, I do.
He's got to go make that money to pay for that pro car.
Yeah, exactly.
And, all them tires that last for 2 laps.
Yep.
With 800 horsepower. So yeah, man, Dan, thanks for coming on,
No
man.
problem.
Wish you luck next
it's nice
year.
to meet you.
Guys.
We
Thank
will be
you.
following along, obviously. Like I said, if you guys watch the live stream this weekend on TikTok, I led myself up to that. You'll probably see him. We'll have him on the live stream. I'll go over and find him, and we'll BS with you guys on TikTok for a little bit. As always, make sure you guys follow us on everything. Parts Online Network, just type that into all the social medias. It's not different on anything. You'll find our pages. TikTok's probably our most active page. If you guys can get over on the YouTube page, we could definitely use the followers over there. Me and Dan had this discussion prior to coming live. YouTube's a mess. It's just, they're not pumping anything out. They're not helping anybody out. That's not 500,000 subscribers deep. So whatever you can give us over there, give us. It helps us out. 1 follower means a lot.
Yeah, because we're shooting for 1,000. We're at like
Yeah, just trying to get to, like-
449 as of this morning, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I said that for many years, and I'm still at 770 something with Edge of Traction. Oh, I did get 5 new followers this week for no reason. I haven't published anything on Edge of Traction since.
You know where you probably got it? Because isn't Edge of Traction is on.
Oh yeah, it's
all
on the videos.
All those
Yep.
videos, so you probably picked them up off the Parts Online page. Good. Right, whatever works.
But yeah, we'll see you guys next week, Wednesday. I do believe, Wednesday should be good next week, right?
Yep.
So-
I don't have anything.
I screwed up last week. I didn't realize it was the day before Thanksgiving, or I wouldn't even schedule it live.
Yeah.
That was. So yeah, that's why we didn't go last week. And same time every week, noon, Wednesdays. I'm gonna try and set them up the same way we did this time. We're gonna set the event up a couple of days ahead of time. That way you guys can share it around, and it seems to work a little better.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's just because this beautiful guy was on today.
Maybe.
But yeah, it was a good time.
I'm giving him the credit.
Yeah.
But we'll continue
I'll
to try
give
the
it to
event
him.
thing, and if it doesn't work out, then we know it was all you.
We'll give it the old what for. And what are we gonna leave him with this week?
I don't
Drag
know.
week again?
Pick something.
Wait. You could pick the video?
Yeah.
To a
There's a couple of them.
point, I have a couple of like my videos
Oh, you
queued
can't
up
do
here.
YouTube.
Like
All right.
well, YouTube doesn't play the sound. That's the only
Oh,
problem. So
okay,
I mean,
okay.
it's like a.
I was gonna say I got some sweet, drifting stuff,
Yeah,
but play your stuff. You got it.
yeah, there's no sound on that. So
Don't mind me.
YouTube
I'm
gets
just being
weird.
awkward.
Yeah, go with Danmo349. That's where you watch his YouTube videos. Go check that
Cool
out.
drifting.
Yeah, we'll see you guys. Peace.